In the Congo, children as young as 6 are digging by hand for the mineral in some of the world's batteries. Not in a war zone. In a supply chain that ends at your driveway. By the end of this video, you'll see how your battery and your solar panel are actually made, and where they go when they die. Every solar panel on your roof, every battery in your EV, sold to you as clean, simple, guilt-free. Here's what actually happens before either one reaches you. This is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Of the 255,000 people mining cobalt here, 40,000 are children, some as young as 6, digging with their bare hands for less than $2 a day. DRC holds over half the world's cobalt reserves. Independent human rights data confirms at least 25,000 children work these mines, and the U.S. Department of Labor found that over 3/4 of miners may be operating under forced labor conditions. Children here face respiratory disease, spinal deformities from carrying heavy loads, and prolonged sun exposure. All documented. All verified. From here, this cobalt is bought up cheaply by Chinese trading companies, shipped out, and refined almost entirely in China, before being built into batteries sold right around the world, Australia included. Cobalt isn't the only cost. Your battery likely contains lithium too. Brine extraction, the method used across the salt flats of South America, can consume up to 500,000 litres of water for every single tonne of lithium produced. Water pulled straight out of already dry regions where farmers and communities depend on it. Australia is the world's largest hard rock lithium producer, centred on the Greenbushes mine in Western Australia. Some batteries now use lithium iron phosphate instead of cobalt. But every lithium battery still relies on the same water-intensive extraction, and every one of them is classified as hazardous waste once it's spent. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. These batteries aren't built to ever come apart again. Peer-reviewed research confirms it plainly. Lithium batteries were never designed for easy disassembly or efficient recycling. Cells are glued, welded, and bolted into modules built to maximize power and structural strength, not to be taken apart safely later. There's no standard design between manufacturers, models, or even model years, so the process can't be automated. Engineers openly admit the industry prioritizes performance during use, at the direct expense of planning for what happens when the battery dies. This is the Hornsdale Battery Farm in South Australia, held up as the poster child for grid reliability. Lithium battery waste is growing 20% every year, and could exceed 100,000 tonnes by 2036. Australia currently recycles only 10% of it. The rest goes to landfill, or gets shipped overseas, often to China, for someone else to deal with. Australia records 10,000 to 12,000 battery fires a year in its waste sector, and right now, there is no established solution for decommissioning grid-scale battery storage at all. Batteries built without a way to come apart, ending up in a system with no way to process them. Before a solar panel ever reaches your roof, making it already has a cost. Turning raw sand into solar-grade silicon takes furnace temperatures over 1500 degrees Celsius, and roughly 150 to 200 kilowatt-hours of electricity for every single kilogram produced. China refines almost 95% of the world's polysilicon, on a power grid still heavily reliant on coal. The process also produces silicon tetrachloride, a toxic byproduct that releases hydrochloric acid into soil and water if it isn't handled properly. The panel that's marketed to you as zero emissions was, in most cases, forged in a coal-fired furnace on the other side of the world. This solar panel didn't survive one hailstorm. Panels are rated for 25 to 30 years, and up to 90% of them end up in landfill, leaching the toxic metal lead, together with cadmium, straight into the soil and groundwater. In Queensland alone, an estimated 800,000 panels are at risk of exactly that. Recycling one panel costs $28. Dumping it costs $4.50. The industry chooses landfill every time, because nothing forces it to choose otherwise. So the sun goes down, the wind stops, and the batteries can't cover the gap. Every single day, gas fills it. In 2024, the average wholesale electricity price was $120 per megawatt hour. That's the real, permanent cost sitting behind the clean energy number on your power bill. Cobalt mined by children. Batteries built to never come apart. Panels forged in coal-fired furnaces. Gas propping up the whole system anyway. That's the current approach, and it's not working. This is where we start to lead into a different way of looking after carbon emissions altogether, one that could give Australia cheap electricity, and in the not-too-distant future, pay for itself. Subscribe, because we are only just getting started.